What's up? Got a special guest today because we're doing the Never Perfect, and I know for a fact my man E here is never perfect. Now I got Evan with me today. We're hanging out here, and what we're going to do today is talk a lot about property management. I think Evan's been in the space. You know, Evan's also an entrepreneur for sure, right, over the last several years, and he's an entrepreneur inside of our business at City Life. For those of you who don't know Evan or seen his face all over the internet or doing business with us, Evan runs our property management front end of the house, right? Business development, owner relations, growth, all of the things there for City Life. He's been with us now, what, dude? 4 or 5 years?
It'll be 6 years in October.
I'm sorry.
6 years.
6 years. 6 years in October. So over 5 years, Big E's been with us, and I remember recruiting him, and you were probably one of the first few at the end of the day. But and Evan started to build his own portfolio, doing some flips with T, some wholesale, and do some different things there. Has partnerships, has some on his own. So it'd be really cool to see how he's gone from a clueless W-2 employee like I was early on in our careers, early on in his career, to ultimately thriving inside of it, a company, doing what he loves, but as well as learning there in order to create his own entrepreneurial journey and, investing in real estate. So what's up, bro?
It's good being here. It's funny, 6 years in October. The day of my anniversary is the same day I got married. So when I got married, TJ spoke at my wedding. You were at my wedding.
Yeah.
And he was like, it'd be really cool if, I got everybody to stand up and say, can everybody please give a round of applause for Evan? This is his, 5th year anniversary with City Life. I presented it to Megan, and she was not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I don't think Megan was going to want that at her wedding very much.
No.
Speaking of that was a good time.
No, it was a great time.
That was, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it goes by fast.
So give us this story, dude. Like, maybe not take a half hour to tell us your story, right? But from your memory, your perspective, your recollection of kind of the journey you've been on, right? Really take us back to the beginning. What I would say is take us back to the beginning of, obviously a lot of entrepreneurs, follow me and watch this show, but I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in college. I believe in that more than anything. And going and learning and doing, I'm a huge believer in that. And obviously you've been a huge believer in that, of course, along the way. So take us back to early on in that journey of why you came, over to City Life 6 years ago, and then, what that's meant to be for your own education and development, right?
I did not think I would be here. Now, my life was around, I'd grown up, my parents, two, W-2 blue collar workers. My dad just retired 40 some years at Columbia Gas. And my mom worked for, she was a secretary for a law firm.
Shout out Pops Augustine, 40-something years.
Just retired, super excited. Blue collar, my mom and dad, my entire life, just work ethic, right? So I went to Penn State Behrend, played soccer there, got my bachelor's degree, stayed a 5th year, got my master's. And I had all these khakis, these button downs, these nice shoes, right? I was ready for corporate America. I wanted it. I wanted to work down in the city. Like, it was my dream. So I got a job with EQT, oil and gas, out of college. I was there for probably 3 weeks, and I was like, this really sucks.
Not EQT. We love you, EQT. But
corporate America
the environment.
EQT was great. No disrespect to EQT. Corporate America just wasn't for me, right? You're siloed off, no communication internally. People had headphones and nobody was talking. I realized really quick it wasn't for me. So I ended up staying there for about 6 months.
Why do you think now that you realize so quickly it wasn't you?
So when I was in grad school, I worked in the athletic department, right? So I was an assistant sports information director working for them while I was in my master's. So they paid for my master's. And I was doing a lot of the behind the scenes for sports, right? Specifically the male sports, writing articles, doing all the stats. In the environment that I had, it was just so collaborative.
Got it.
Right? I was working with other athletes, other coaches, and everybody, especially oil and gas, it can be such a dog-eat-dog world, right? Where it's what I can do to get better over somebody else. So I've always had that mentality of collaboration, playing sports. It's always fit me well. So about 6 months in, they spun off into their this midstream and production. I went with the midstream, so I was working out of South Point for the next year and a half, and it was okay, right? It was blue collar, like it was very steady. I had
about 2 years.
401k, yeah, it was great. About 2 years, a lot of perks. It was great, and then the pandemic hit, right? And I started to think, I was always the first one in the office, right? I was getting there at 6:30, leaving at 4 o'clock, whatever it was. The pandemic hit, and then we started working from home. And all of a sudden, I'm waking up at 6:30. Then I'm waking up at 7. I'm waking up at 7:30. By the time a few months come in, I'm waking up at 8:30. I'm just having my laptop open. I'm just making sure my mouse is green. So it looked like I was communicating
Half
with
the
people.
world.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I was 24 years old. It's like, it's going to be a long 40 years. So it's similar to just about every entrepreneur. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think it was the only book I read cover to cover in my entire life. And it completely changed my mindset.
Love that.
Of how you can get out of the rat race, if you will. So I was just looking for different real estate opportunities, and I found City Life through my buddy.
Was it real estate before that, or did that book also not only did that book make you realize there's a different world to live, but it made you realize real estate?
Specifically real estate,
Okay.
thinking outside the box, but specifically real estate being that first vehicle, if you will. And I got a story about you later about why I focused on real estate. But my buddy at the time worked for City Life and said there was a position that opened up as a property manager. So I was like, screw it. I took a half day from work.
Who was your buddy?
Mace.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Mace.
Alex Masel hooked me up. So I took a half day of work, came down, again, slacks, button down, nice shoes. I get down there, interview with you, BK, and TJ, and you're sitting here with open-toed shoes, shorts with holes in them, backwards hat. TJ has a cutoff. And I just realized super, super quick that this is the environment that I needed to be in. So it was very, very early on. I was actually reading a book on how to screen tenants for bigger pockets, Brandon Turner. And I remember one of the few things first thing that TJ told me was, he was like, stop reading that book. I will show you how to screen tenants the right way.
TJ has his ways.
He's good at it, man. He's good at it. Yeah, I mean, that's really how I got jump-started into City Life and real estate. And it's completely changed my life. I remember, so I was still living at home. I was on my parents' health insurance. When I transitioned over, we didn't have health insurance at the time, right? I was under 26, so I could still be on my parents'.
We loved that.
It was great.
We only hired people under 26 then because we didn't.
That's right. There was no risk. There was no risk for me. I was living at home, and there was no risk for you guys.
Yeah.
So
we didn't ask that question early on. Hey, do you still live at home and are you still on your parents' health care? We definitely didn't ask it, I promise.
How old are you? 24? Perfect.
For the record, everyone that's in HR out there, we did not do that. And for everyone that doesn't have HR as an entrepreneur, you can't do that, so you shouldn't. Age is irrelevant.
You guys actually hired me 6 months after I turned 26. So
Okay.
Yeah,
see? So if anyone wants to come after me that's watching, just ask
There it
Jake.
is.
We hired him after he turned 26.
There it
We're
is.
good. We're clear.
My parents begged me not to take the job.
I bet.
My parents begged me, pleaded. It was too risky. It wasn't secure. No 401k, no health insurance. Begged me. And I was talking to my dad a couple weeks ago, right before he retired. He gives me money now. He funds a lot of my deals. And him and my mom were like, this was the best thing that, they were like, we were wrong. We were wrong through and through. This is the best decision you could make.
So, entrepreneur, Evan, go. Tell us.
I wanted to, within City Life, we learned, working with you and BK and TJ, we learned so much. We didn't have process. We were just going, right? In property management, naturally, you learn everything about real estate. How to screen tenants, how to talk to vendors, how to work with owners, how to come up with a scope, how to lease properties, how to go to evictions, everything, right? So it's like accelerated learning. I've learned more in the past 6 years than I would have in 10 years anywhere else.
Did you hear that? You learn by doing, by taking action, right? He could have read 1,000 books. He could have read Brandon Turner's books. He could have been on Bigger Pockets, but he literally is sitting here telling you. The very first thing I asked him, right, in this specific line of questioning is, tell me about your entrepreneurial career. And the very first thing he goes to is how much he learned by taking action in a full-time job. I just want to make sure that I stress the hell out of that. That is how you learn, is by taking massive action in the area of which you need to learn, not by staring at books.
I think Brandon Turner is the one who says it, is in any company, as a real estate company, if you can get in, even as the janitor, right, you're going to learn about that industry. But yeah, I was a couple years in, and I've learned so much just with different mentors, different people like yourself, TJ, Brian, and everyone else. A first opportunity to buy a rental house fell into my lap. More or less, Brian said, I have a house for you. If you don't buy it, I will. I was like, all right, perfect. So I looked at it, ran the numbers, ran the scope, and it ended up being a pretty good deal. Wasn't a earth-shattering deal, but it worked out for your first round.
What was the deal?
Right? It was 1705 Amanda, so out in Carrick. Purchase price of 65, reno of 40, give or take. ARV around 160, 165. Went a little bit over on the reno naturally. Ran into some issues along the way, but it ended up about breaking even from my initial hand money to when I walked away after after we got it leased out. Great first property, solid house.
You did make money or you didn't?
I made about $2,000, which covered my hand money.
So to summarize all of that, right, he did a BRRRR model investment where he was able to acquire the real estate, renovate the real estate, go get the real estate leased out on the back end, and then go get it refinanced. What he is saying is all of the money that went in, all of the financing, all of his own money, whatever it was, irrelevant of all of that to total cost, to get it all the way up till rented, to when you go to the bank funded 100% of all of that on the refinance out. Evan now had a property of which he owned outright himself through an LLC that he had $0 into because the bank on the back end of all of it, because he was able to add so much value by buying it and renovating it, funded the entire thing. That's called an infinity return forever. Do you still own 1705?
I do.
Cool. I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
No. What's really cool about this is, I was so hands-on at the beginning. Naturally, I didn't have any money.
Probably scared as hell.
I needed to know what was going on. So checking in on the property 2-3 days a week. I didn't do any of the work myself. Right? I subbed everything.
So you're like
out.
me, you can't swing a hammer.
I cannot swing a hammer.
Correct.
I didn't do anything myself, so I subbed everything. Well, when I started to go there, I started to meet the neighbors, right? So nice little street in Carrick. Well, I met the neighbor, who very lovely woman. I met the following neighbor who actually sold me their house across the street.
Nice.
So they owned the house across the street, sold me that. And then to that, I met the neighbor across the street. They were moving out, I bought their house. So right now I have 3 houses on that street, and I'm working with one of the other neighbors. She's moving out soon. So it was great. It was a great opportunity to be involved very early on and getting a feel for the street, the neighborhood, to truly make it a better place. Mm-hmm. Right? Not to say it was bad, but if I can buy it and improve the area, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, people call it gentrification. People say all of these different things around owners and landlords. Number one, it's not like you're BlackRock coming in, buying it, not taking care of it, whatever. This is a local real estate investor that's going to come in, bought it because someone that owned it couldn't do the work to the property. You come in, you put how much? You said you went over, so you probably put 50 grand. So you took 50,000 real dollars and made a house in a community a better house. Not only did that, you then brought in a good human that can live there that can't afford to buy their own house and therefore got another beautiful, nice home that you fully renovated to live there. You're making the world a better place. You're building a better community, for sure.
Using other people's money and
money.
Literally not spending a dollar of my own money. I didn't think it was possible, but it can happen. And it's easy is not the right word, but it is very, very possible.
Well, how did you do that?
A lot of it has to do with leveraging your relationships. I mean, you and BK, I'm going to continue to say you, Brian, TJ, just the opportunities in trying to continue to learn. Right, I think that was the most important thing. That is, if I put
So if we say it a different way, right? It's like I totally agree with you. People wonder how to get going, and people are out there in the world wondering how to get started. And it's like, well, let me tell you how I got started. I went and found a job that paid me to learn, right? So I went and found a job in real estate, an entry-level job, which is all it was. You came in as what, a leasing agent or a property manager?
Property manager.
So you took an entry-level job in property management. And then all of a sudden, how many rentals do you have now?
10.
10 rentals. You have 10 rentals. Is it safe to say, number one, you felt confident to do any of that because of the job you had and the learning you have, right? And then you said relationships. It sounds like most likely, I'm guessing we funded all 10 of those? Or most of them, your dad funds a couple?
Most of them, correct.
Most of them probably you were found through the ecosystem of which we built for you?
Yes.
Right? Who manages it?
City Life.
We manage it on the back end, right?
Correct.
Who got you the connections for the lenders on the refis out? City Life or us, someone, right? So essentially you've came into an ecosystem that has now turned into a multimillionaire while working a full-time job, still full-time for us.
And that's the coolest part about it is oil and gas, I said it earlier, it's a dog-eat-dog world. What can I do to get over on the next person? I think it was my first week and we were hosting a party, 1812, hosting an event, if you will. And you're talking with, I forget who it was, but another entrepreneur, investor in the area. And I'm sitting there I'm thinking, why are you talking to him? Like we got to do better than him. We have to get over, we want to do more than he is. And the first thing you said before I even said anything is, we all need to collaborate in real estate. We all need to work together. There's enough houses, there's enough work that can go wrong for everybody to eat, everybody to win. That's what we want, collaboration over competition. It hit me like a ton of bricks because that's exactly what we have, right? Like Brian finding me this deal. He could have taken it for himself and had another house in his portfolio, but he collaborated. Wanting to continue to help other people grow is huge, right? So I found the right people that fit me well. Why
do you think there's people in the industry that, particularly our industry, the real estate industry well here, our market really well. You know how I think about it, and obviously You know, you've been with me 6 years, so clearly you agree with a lot of the way I think about things. Why do you think not everybody's collaborative the way that you've, you know, quote unquote, been brought up inside of this business, and that you clearly live and push it beyond, you know, even what you learned from the first place? Why do you think there are people that are not like that? When you know how valuable it is.
It's insane, man. And one of our core values is we got your back, right? That's what we pride ourselves on. You can only go so far as an individual. You need a team to back you, right? I think it's just a mentality, right? Everybody thinks that they can do it better themselves, or they can do it the best by doing it themselves. When really if someone can do 80% as good as what you can do, right? That's where you need to continue to leverage other people who have a team, so you can continue to thrive, right? Continue to do the things that you're good at, that you love to do. I know you and Brian are huge on it, right? And he's cutting the grass, for example, right? How much does it cost to cut your grass? $100 maybe, but what's my hourly worth, right? Can I find another deal? Can I spend time with, in your case, your family, go on a vacation, you name it, right? So to that point, I don't even cut my own grass. But I think it comes back to mentality, right? I think it's leveraging or just having people to support you. People think they can do it better themselves, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that too. I think it's just, you know, ego is a big reason too, right? I always say ego and fear get in the way of everybody and everything. But it dates all the way even back to, you know, my old employer, right? Brian Kirshner was a real estate agent in my old employer. He was a 1099 real estate agent, irrelevant to everything going on there. When I was there, our CEO and owner actually kicked him out because they got wind he was buying real estate. A few months later, he fired me. I mean, at the time, I think it was like a 700 unit portfolio. Look what Brian and I have done since then. It's been less than 7 years, and look what we've built.
Right.
And all of that is because there was a lack of wanting to collaborate. And it's just like, I never in a million years thought I would ever be an entrepreneur. Never. And something forced that out. To your point, literally the lack of collaboration pushed me to go out on my own, which caused me to want to collaborate with somebody else. And look what we've been able to build since. It's just fascinating to me, right, that people don't get out of their own way when it comes to the idea of collaboration, right?
And you and Brian met each other through your brother, right? Your brother.
In a way, I was buying a house out in St. Clair, and I didn't know a single real estate agent, and I knew he was because he helped my brother buy his house. So that was the how that happened.
And then Brian already had City Life created, right? Didn't he already have the name City Life already?
He has City Life Realty Pittsburgh, and he had City Life Realty Group already created, and City Life Realty Holdings was already created.
Yeah. He was ready. He just needed to find someone.
The problem was he created the ultimate wrong name, which was City Life Residential. So I'm taking credit for the City Life Residential name, which is I took it from Acrruity Residential, which all I did was look up the largest publicly traded property management company in the world, or in the United States, and it was Acrruity Residential. I was like, City Life Residential. Perfect. City Life Realty Group was what we used to go by, and it sounded way too much like a brokerage and an agency. Right. And I was like, well, we already have the RE/MAX, and we don't even want it, and we obviously now don't even have it anymore. But that's what ultimately got us to the City Life Residential name. So fast forward, obviously you now have 10 real estate properties you own. Yep. Obviously you're buying more now. I know you're doing a couple, some deals with TJ where you're doing some, quick fix and flips. Yep. And wholesales and things like that. So obviously, as a business owner that creates entrepreneurs inside of my own company, there's obviously a risk that they're ready to leave. I think Mikey Lucas is a really good example, right? Mikey Lucas is now running a flooring and paint company with us. We're partners on and everything else. He has rentals and doing his thing. He worked for us 4 or 5 years and then, spun off all on his own. And so there's always conversations. By the way, personally, we're always good with whatever it is, right? We truly believe in our mission, which is build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen the community, which means not everyone's going to want to work for us forever. It's, do you want to work for us forever? Does that make you happy or not, right? And Mikey continued down the path of he'll never forgive himself if he isn't running his own company. So perfect, right? Where you've always continued to take the stance of, I want to continue to build my own portfolio passively, where I'm pushing it off and the company's running it and the team's running it. And I'm a quote unquote lifer at City Life because of the opportunities in the different things. But more importantly, I want to ask that question to you, right? As you've evolved, as you follow me, as you follow other entrepreneurs, as you start to build your real estate portfolio and do different things, you've continued to stay adamant around, I love my job, I love what I'm doing, I love working here, and I'm going to take this thing to the moon. And oh, by the way, I'm still going to be an entrepreneur, but it's both for you. And I'm just curious if you can't help the world understand your logic and how you think through that. And it's not to say that that's forever, but that's where you're at now, and maybe just help me understand why.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I worked with Mikey for a while, and he always wanted that dream, right? The painting company. We talked about it on the construction side all the time, what we can do to get in the door, whether it be roofing, painting, flooring, you name it. And he always just loved the painting atmosphere. So that was his passion. When I first started, we were managing about 75-ish units, right? Now we just eclipsed 1,200, right? So I've been here for a long time, and I've been in plenty of different roles. I've seen a lot of real estate, and I've seen a lot of construction that it's been eye-opening, right? So I think the thing that's most important to me is I don't look at this as a job, right? This is my career, right? People will say, you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. That's awesome, right? I don't clock my hours because this is what I do, right?
Yeah.
Even on the weekends when a call comes, I'll take it, but I'm looking for my own personal portfolio. I'm helping my neighbor, so my parents' neighbor was having a hard time selling their parents' house. She just passed away, so selling their parents' house. She couldn't get it sold on the MLS, so my mom got in touch with her and gave her my number. We just got it under contract today. We're gonna try wholesaling it for her, right? So this is truly my passion of what I love to do and what my career is. As far as a city lifer, to your point, right? I think what we're creating is so cool, right? We are changing so many lives between helping owners continue to scale, helping tenants find their true home, right? Improving the neighborhood by buying let's say a dilapidated house and making it to where it's beautiful and then putting in a beautiful tenancy, right? I think it's so rewarding that I have the opportunity to do that as well as learn and continue to build my own portfolio.
So is it the scalability of it, or is it the being on part of a team and around a lot of people doing it where they're solving bigger problems? Because at the end of the day, you could go out on your own, run a really small company by yourself, buy a property or two a month. I know you could do that and be successful. Flip one, keep one, do your own management to keep that money in-house and put it in your pocket. And you know how to manage vendors, you know how to talk to tenants. And you could just run a little tiny of your own business and grow that, which you're doing, but you're obviously not doing it as fast as maybe you would naturally do if you were just 50, 60 hours a week every single week on that, and not 56 hours every single week, right? 40, 45, 50 of them being working in the company and the other 10 or 15 to 20 being in that side business. And so why don't you take that leap?
Maybe I will. I don't know yet. I might do that. I might do something like that in the future. Right now, my main goal is to just build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen the community, right? We've such a good group of people, specifically at City Life, with our core team. It makes it fun to go to work every day, right? Like our leasing team, one of my best friends is our leasing manager, right? So it's great working out with him every single day and then working with him every day, right? Coming here and working with you and TJ and everybody else. The environment that we have is it's unmatched, right? And outside of that is we learn something new every single day, right? Having the opportunity to, talk to you about steel point, or talk to Alex about Acrruity. I'm working with Acrruity on the tax side, or talking to Josh about what's going on in operations on the City Life side. It's such a cool experience to have different areas and different things to talk about. Now, could we do that as an entrepreneur? Absolutely. But right now,
but it's so different, right?
It's just the environment that we have. We work out at F45 every day. It's 5:15. You're there too, right? The team that we have, not to say that would change, but it just, if they're not broke, why fix it? Right now it's working really well. I'm happy. My wife's happy. Things are going really well that I can continue.
Well, it makes, getting a nice paycheck while doing something that you actually love to do is quite nice, which allows you to be able to do the side work and the passive and all of that a lot easier at the end of the day, right? You can't do it as much, but it's certainly a lot easier. Yeah.
Will I open something up? Potentially, maybe. I haven't found that passion, to Mikey's point, of the painting and flooring. I don't know yet. But right now, I don't think I need to figure that out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, what I would tell you too is Mikey is ready, all of the things, but he also spent 4 years learning real estate, learning exactly what he does now. He ran our construction shop, which did, the year he left, like $7 million or something like that in total revenue. And he ran, I mean, we helped him a ton, but at the end of the day, he was kind of running the day-to-day of the business. The stress side of it is significantly greater for him right now than it is for you, both on the single side of how you're running your portfolios, compared to your job, where his job's now, executive and CEO of the flooring paint company, where you're
sales manager
and sales manager and payroll,
customer
and
service,
HR and customer, and everything that involves a problem that no one else in your team can solve.
Right.
Where you're still in a position where you have a team, a leadership team, you have owners, and so final say, if it's too big for your, what I always like to say, it's above my pay grade, you still literally have that, right? You can
Right.
toss it up to the owners at any given time to
Hey,
make those decisions.
We're just a property management company.
Exactly.
We're just a management
Right.
company. I can't make decisions on, now do we make decisions on your behalf? Certainly, but hey, we're just a management.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a good
But even
point. Well
inside of
said.
the management company,
Well
like
said.
you have a team, you can bounce ideas and all of the different
Right.
things, which it just creates it's a different level of stress. And specifically when you're out on your own by yourself, it's significantly greater. You know, I don't know if I've ever said this out loud, but like for me, I think there's a lot of, I don't know that it's regret, right? I spent 10 months inside an organization. I wish I would have had 3 years there, right? I got fired in like over 10 months. I would have loved for that owner to say, hey, you know, I could tell you're never really going to listen to what I have to say. You're going to want to run this the way that you do it. How about we spin you off? I'll fund you and we get going, right? Like that would have been a hell of a lot easier than what happened, which is goodbye, see you later. And oh, by the way, you owe me a bunch of money and I'll never see you again. Okay,
Right.
cool. Now what I would tell you is it lit a fire, right? Like I wasn't going to lose. There was no going to sleep. There was no going to bed. There was never going to be a chance ever the day that happened that I would lose. Like, did that help compared to, you know, having a boat that I could get back on, all of the things? I don't know that answer. But sitting here 7 years later, the stress is still as real as it gets. That, you know what I mean, that you've got to deal with when you're sitting in these seats, and that doesn't go away compared to, you know, being an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur at the same time, which is a really great spot to be. My point to say is like, you're in a really good spot because you have the freedom and the flexibility because you're inside of the right organization. It allows you to go do those things. You've learned some, and you still have the safety of the W-2, the safety of the paycheck, but more importantly, right, it's not even maybe it as much as it is now for you as it is the education and the environment that you continue to be in and be around and be able to be a part of, right, that really is continuing. Like when I lost it all. Right, I was on my own for 2 years, then I joined about 350 masterminds, which I need to have another episode on that to say which you should look for, because I had so much experience there. But then I had to learn that whole world and learn the negativity that comes with that whole world and how people are goddamn super cutthroat, right? Not everyone in those masterminds are like me that want to see everyone successful, right? It's like the moment you're not producing for me and you're not taking care of me, whatever that is, like the value that you create is not more than for me, it is vice versa. The moment I'll cut you off at the neck, the legs, the kneecaps, and see and push you out the door. Well, that's that world. And it's hard to be in. And I learned all of that the hard way. And that's why I say, right, compressed time, get in the organizations that you can get into where you can learn while having less risk, learn, develop, educate. We had that here, but I would tell you at the time, we didn't know we had that. And so was it lucky? I don't know. I don't think it was lucky from your part. It was show up, see if I like these guys, see if I could fit in and collaborate. And if that's the answer, that's great. And there's a lot of those out there. And even if there isn't, I tell people, go work for the wholesaler that's hiring his first sales rep. Go spend 10 months there working for that guy and you'll still learn. And maybe not be the guy you spend the next 10 years with, but you know, you're going to get closer to wherever it is. It's the same concept, right? Take massive action.
I mean, that's a sports mindset, right? Is I will do whatever it takes to win. I will not lose. Right, so that's coming in here, like knowing that I'm not going to lose and just being open to different opportunities.
Isn't it sad though that you can never beat me at any sport?
We have to set this up. Me and Carter versus you and TJ. 12 sports once a month. As soon as my foot heals, we'll rapid fire.
All right, how about we go right now?
Pickleball. We'll do pickleball right now.
I have to call up Ethan. Shout out Ethan. He's a pro pickleball player. Worked with us for a while. Really good dude. All right, man. I'm gonna wrap this up. I really appreciate having you on there. Good episode. Any questions you want to ask me that, you know, you want me to answer to you or the public that maybe, you know, infrastructure you don't get the chance to do?
What's next? I mean, we got City Life, we've Acrruity, we've Steel Point, we've Revive, a bunch of other different ideas and options and things in the making. But I guess what's next? Tell the folks what's next.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give any of the real secrets away. Come on, man, you know that. What I would tell you right now, maybe we use this as the good opportunity to announce big infrastructural change that we're making is we've invested heavily in a software and a service product called Hemlane. My friend Dana Dunford from out in San Francisco, she's awesome. Her team is incredible. 6 years of this, of them being on AppFolio. It's funny, I told the team last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever I knew we were going to grow big business very early on, I think we had Brian's 18 rentals and we had bought our first rental. I called AppFolio up. You had to have 50 to be on the platform, which is a software, you know, that the largest, the big player, right? 900,000 plus units are on it. It's publicly traded. And I said, hey, you have one opportunity at this. You either take our business now with 20 units or you're never getting our business ever. but I promise you we're going to have over 1,000 doors within 5 years. I was a nobody, right? Like whatsoever. And, it went up the chain. They said no. I said, this is your last, negotiate. I said, your last chance. They finally said, yeah. Because we had gone from like 20 doors to like 26 doors in the 30-day window.
Right.
Yeah, it was super fast. And so they said, okay, and we got on Folio. So we've been on AppFolio from day one. But the problem isn't just my opinion. AppFolio hasn't moved with the times. The times of AI, right, is still clunky software. It's still hard to work through. It's still super manual on our end. And it's difficult, right? We know AI is coming. And so we're not here to replace humans. It's not what we're after, but we need to be able to see our data real time at all times. And we need to process workflow to be as efficient and smooth as possible. So what's next is rolling out Hemlane into our internal company and really starting to grow from there, right? Growing third-party management is big on our horizon, whether that's local here. We want to do that a lot, so it's starting to turn you on. I'm sick of talking to you myself. I want to get you out in the market, talking to a lot more people. That's one. And then two, I think, is going to be M&A, right? We're going to start looking at how to go out and acquire other property management companies in full demand. And so I think what I would tell you over the next 3 years, over the next 6 months, it's let's master Hemlane. And then over the next 3 to 6 years, it's let's 10x our units under management, right? Like that's what it's all about. And we're at a little bit of a nervous time inside of our company because I think a lot of people, we're bringing on the software and it's a service and there's kind of people behind it. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean for me? Any change is scary, and you're always going to have like people that are scared of change. It's just the society and the world that we live in. But that's what makes it exciting for me, because it's not about that at all. It's about creating a tool that our people can use to make them more efficient so that we can actually go create real scalability. Because as you know, and as I know, it's been hard to scale the way that our current infrastructure is, the way that we're currently set up. So like that's what I would tell you is a big thing next. And as you know, we're at Steel Point, we're continuing to raise capital, hard money lend here locally, and then we're going to continue to build that infrastructure to make going out and acquiring other management companies and lending on those significantly easier. And so it's just building the pipeline of the different organizations that ultimately feed each other, right? On top of that, we go out and win more owners here. Guess what? We can lend to them, right? All of the things. And so that's really what's next.
It's funny, when you introduced this to the team at the town hall, we didn't get as many questions as I thought we were going to get.
Yeah, not because I was probably still there.
But I was saying at the happy hour, I was like, I don't think people really understand the magnitude of, we're changing our operating system, right? And it's for the better. I think they think it's just going to be some little feature off of AppFolio where they just go in AppFolio and they just toggle to Hemlane. But no, it's completely.
I would say probably because they weren't willing to ask the questions they wanted to ask in front of all of us, and specifically me there. But I'm willing to bet there's a lot of internal questions happening. Probably questions you're getting you haven't asked me yet. Josh is getting that you haven't, or you're just hiding from me. There's questions, right? Like it's just scary. Change is scary.
Right.
Change is always scary. It's scary for me. It's scary for everybody. How to manage the change through it all, and then what it looks like on the back end. It's just scary, right? We're scared of the unknown. We either have an ego or we have a scare problem. One of the two. And in this case, it's the scare problem.
You're either growing or you're done.
You're either growing or you're done. Any last words?
No, I appreciate you for having me on. This is great. Let's keep taking City Life to the moon.
Pittsburgh owners, I see you out there. If you're listening to this, you need property management. We're the best in the business. Reach out to this dude. He'll take care of you. Always willing to answer the phone anytime you ever call. Probably maybe not give you all the direct answers you want, but he certainly will give you a answer. Love that.
That's true.
Appreciate having you. Jake, my man, on the production of this as always. We appreciate you, homie. Until the next episode. What's that song? Until the next episode.
Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre.
Now we're talking, Jake.
I'll see you later.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.